bitter criticism. Special Al Jazeera. Special World War III. Let's do it. Let's do this war till the end. Woo! I was chatting with a friend. He also likes geopolitics. He believes the BRICS will win. The BRICS are winning, in fact. Because these breaking news are the same. Dozens reported dead as Tehran a permanent block hit. Oh no, this is new. Israeli attack hits Iranian gas field in escalation on civilian infrastructure. Israeli defense minister warns, quote unquote, Tehran will burn if attacks continue. Oh, is being... By now, Israel is winning. Israel is winning. Israel warns, quote unquote, Tehran will burn. Tehran will burn. I thought it was the same. I thought it was Israel will burn. Israel warns, quote unquote, Tehran will burn after deadly missile barrage by Iran. I like it. I'm supporting Iran. There's a video. Videos show destruction in the aftermath of Iranian missile strikes that hit sites across Israel in response to continued Israeli attacks. I will repeat this. It's been a lot of videos, exclusive content. Because this is the first time a rich country, a rich region it's been under attack. Remember that 9/11 40 years ago? It was not a real attack. It was it was a lie. Well, Israel warns, I just said, if Iran continues to fire missiles at Israel, quote unquote, Tehran will burn. Defense Minister Israel Katz says. By Neil Zadler, Liar Harb, Team Home, 14 June. Iran and Israel trade missiles and airstrikes as the conflict that's killed dozens escalates with no end in sight. At least 80 people, including 20 children, have been killed in Iran and 4 in Israel, with hundreds wounded on both sides in the ongoing tit-for-tat attacks. U.S. President Donald Trump has lauded Israel's premeditated assault and warned of much worse to come unless Iran quickly accepts the sharp downgrading of its nuclear program. Continuing Iran-US nuclear talks is unjustifiable while, quote-unquote, barbarous Israeli attacks persist on the country. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi says. The Israeli military says its airstrikes on Iran killed more than 20 Iranian Army and Revolutionary Guards commanders. A minute ago, Iran says it contained fire at the oil refinery after Israeli attacks. The Iranian oil ministry says fire broke out at the Fajr gas refinery in South Pars oil field in the Bushehr province after Israeli strikes. Quote, following this incident, with the rapid and timely presence of the oil industry operational forces, fire containment and control operations began, and the fire control operations began, and the fire was completely contained in the shortest possible time, end quote. The ministry said in a statement, according to Tasmin news agency. 6 minutes ago, Erdogan, Israel under Netanyahu, greatest, new live update, and Erdogan, Israel under Netanyahu, greatest threat to regional stability. But there's a new live update. I'm going to read first the new. And says 5 minutes ago, Iran says it contained fire at the oil refinery after Israeli attacks. The Iranian oil ministry says fire broke out at the Farjan gas refinery and South Pars oil field in the Bushehr province after Israeli strikes. Quote, following this incident, with the rapid and timely presence of the oil industry operational forces, fire containment and control operations began, and the fire was completely contained in the shortest possible time, end quote. The ministry said in a statement, according to Tasnim. I just read this. Oh, but there's a new, I guess. A few seconds ago. What is the importance of Iran's South Pars gas field? As we reported earlier, Iranian media is saying Israeli strikes on the gas field vital to Iran's energy sector. Here are some key facts about the South Pars gas field. First, it is the world's largest natural gas field, shared with Qatar, where it's known as the North Field. Its output exceeds 700 million cubic meters, 24,720 cu feet per day, accounting for roughly 65 to 70% of Iran's total natural gas production. This field is crucial for Iran's domestic consumption, petrochemical industry, and gas exports. Other significant Iranian gas fields include North Pars, with large untapped reserves, Kish and Kangan. However, none match South Pars in scale or output. I guess it was destroyed. 10 minutes ago, Erdogan, Israel under Netanyahu, greatest threat to regional stability. Turkey's president has told Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman that the attack on Iran demonstrated that Israel under Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's government is the greatest threat to regional stability, Erdogan's office said. In a phone call, Erdogan told the Saudi Crown Prince that Israel must be stopped to reduce tensions, and the nuclear dispute could only be resolved by negotiations. A potentially devastating war could create waves of irregular migration to all countries in the region, Erdogan also said, according to the statement. The Turkish president also spoke to his Iranian counterpart, Masoud Pezeshkian, in a phone call, his office says. During the call, he said that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was trying to set the region on fire and to sabotage nuclear talks with attacks on Iran. A statement by his office said that Erdogan had also told Pezeshkian that Israel's attacks aimed to divert attention from what he called a genocide in Gaza. Yeah. 15 minutes ago, Israel's latest attacks on an Iranian gas field takes tensions to a different level. By Noor Odeh, Al Jazeera is reporting from Jordan because it has been banned from Israel and the occupied West Bank. I guess even Jordan, there's no flights over Jordan, so the journalists are landlocked now. I hope they have sufficient bread to eat, because there will be no bread for the foreseeable future, for the near future. Anyway. Oh, I lost myself. I'm lost here. Oh, I completely lost here. There's a new live update. A few seconds ago. Flames rise from refinery after Israeli drone strike in southern Iran. Here's the footage of the aftermath of the Israeli drone strike targeting the South Pars refinery in the southern port city of Kangan. The footage, verified by Al Jazeera's Sanad agency, shows a large fire blazing, emitting huge plumes of smoke. Iranian state media reported that Israel carried out a drone strike targeting a refinery in the South Pars gas field located in Bushehr province, southern Iran, causing a fire to break out. Iran's oil ministry says the fire has not been extinguished. Yeah, I guess Israel is winning. Israel is winning. That's the sad news. 30 military, one Red Crescent worker killed in northwest Iran, state media reports. At least 30 military personnel and a Red Cross Crescent staff member have been killed in Israeli attacks on Iran's northwestern province of East Azerbaijan, Iranian state media is reporting. 55 others were reportedly injured in the strikes. Bayram Sarmast, the province's governor, told state television that the attacks had struck 19 locations across the province, mainly in the capital, Tabriz, which has been a major target for Israel. Sarmaz said that beyond the 12 strikes on Tabriz, the countries of Bostanabad, Shabestar, Azarshar, Maraged, and Turkmenshai were also hit. 35 minutes ago, German government warns against further escalation in Middle East. The foreign ministry has issued its statement on X saying further escalation in the Middle East is a real possibility. It added that Iran's nuclear program poses a threat not just to Israel but also to Saudi Arabia and the stability of the entire region. The statement was issued after a visit by German Foreign Minister Johann Wadeful to Saudi Arabia, where he met his counterpart. 40 minutes ago, put Putin, Trump discuss Middle East tensions, Kremlin says. The Russian and US presidents discussed hostilities between Iran and Israel in a new telephone call. Russian news agency quoted top Kremlin foreign policy aide Yuri Ushakov as saying, Ushakov said Putin condemned Israeli attacks on Iran, and the two leaders did not rule out returning to discussions on Iran's nuclear program. The agencies quoted Ushakov as saying the two presidents spoke for about 50 minutes. He described the talks as meaningful and useful. 1 hour ago, Saudi Crown Prince, UK Prime Minister discussed quote-unquote gravely concerning situation. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer spoke to Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman on Saturday afternoon. According to a UK readout of the conversation, quote, they discussed the gravely concerning situation in the Middle East and agreed on the need to de-escalate, end quote. Quote, the Prime Minister updated on his conversations with partners so far and reiterated that the UK is poised to work closely with its new live update again, just 1 second, and working I don't like because when there's a new live update they mess up the text you are reading. According to a UK readout of the conversation, quote-unquote, quote, they discussed the gravely concerning situation in the Middle East and agreed on the need to de-escalate. Quote, the Prime Minister updated on his conversation with partners so far and reiterated that the UK is poised to work closely with its allies in the coming days to support a diplomatic resolution, end quote. It said. UK Foreign Secretary David Lammy is expected to spend the day in talks with counterparts across the Middle East and elsewhere. Iranian state media said Tehran has warned the United States, the United Kingdom and France not to help Israel stop Iran's strikes. 1 hour ago, but first there's a new live update a few seconds ago. Netanyahu wants to quote-unquote to change the agenda. Quote, Israel is fighting yesterday's war, end quote. Akiva Eldar, an Israeli political analyst, tells Al Jazeera. He said if the aim was to destroy Iran's nuclear capabilities, it is too late, as quote, Iran has enough physical material to produce an atomic bomb, end quote. Quote, what Netanyahu really wants, and maybe it sounds like a conspiracy theory, is to change the agenda. Yeah, maybe to change the headlines, and now from a loser who refuses to take responsibility to the biggest military blunder of October 7. He's a rock star, end quote, Eldar said. However, Israel cannot destroy Iran's nuclear program alone, he said, adding that it is only the US that could do that if it decided to help Israel penetrate the underground facilities. Quote, I don't believe that President Trump, Mr. Make America Great Again, is interested in getting involved in a regional war, end quote, he said. Yeah, I'm going to read the very last one. 30 military, yeah, just read that. German government wants, but Putin, 1 hour ago, Trump discussed Middle East tensions, Kremlin says. The Russian and US presidents discussed hostilities between Iran and Israel in a new telephone call. Russian news agencies quoted top Kremlin foreign policy AD Yuri Ushakov as saying, Ushakov said Putin condemned Israeli attacks on Iran, and the two leaders did not rule out returning to discussions on Iran's nuclear program. The agencies quoted Ushakov as saying the two presidents spoke for about 50 minutes. He described the talks as meaningful and useful. Well, that's it.